Lap time of 2:06.505. You know, mate, some folks wonder why these drivers spend so much time in practice. But it's just like prepping a Barbie, you gotta get it right before the big show.
Exactly. Rob, practice makes perfect, and in racing, perfect can be the difference between pole position and the back of the grid.
Stuart Boyle's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 2:04.251. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Chris Duke posted 4:12.497 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Watch as Sunoiler takes it nice and easy on this outlap. It's not just about warming up the tires, it's about getting into that mental pit lane, tuning into the race mindset.
For sure, Rob, they're calibrating everything, the brakes, the steering, the throttle response. It's a crucial part of laying down the groundwork for a successful practice session.
There's the first flying lap for Stuart Boyle, hitting 2:04.251. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
There goes Sunoiler, on their first dance with Lake Garnett 1963. Every bend, every straight is a chance to learn, to adapt.
Yep, and it's about syncing with the car too. Making sure everything's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument before a big concert.
Chris Duke has a best lap time of 2:05.957. Sunoiler's on the outlap, getting a taste of the tarmac. It's like sniffing the cork before a good wine, first impressions matter.
Exactly. They're assessing the grip, the balance, the whole shebang. You can learn a lot in these quiet moments before the throttle really opens up.
In these sessions, they're not just pushing the car's limits, but their own too. Testing their mettle, seeing how far they can go before the big dance.
Exactly. It's a mental game as much as a physical one. Balancing aggression with precision, daring with data. It's an art and a science.
These practices, mate, they're like a kangaroo finding its best hop. Once you've got it, you're unstoppable.
Couldn't have put it better. Finding the perfect launch is all about repetition and adjustments.
Chris Duke crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 2:06.331. They're getting to grips with Lake Garnett 1963, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
Sunoiler is on the outlap, not just warming up the tires but also warming up their instincts, getting the racer's intuition dialed in.
True that. They're getting the feel of the track, the car, the conditions. It's all about setting the stage for what's to come.
With just 318 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Chris Duke's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 2:20.279. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
And off goes Sunoiler, easing into the rhythm of Lake Garnett 1963. This lap is like the first sip of your morning coffee, waking up the senses, priming the engines.
Yeah, it's about syncing up with the machine, getting that perfect harmony between driver and car. It's like a prelude to a symphony that's about to unfold on the track.
Chris Duke's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 2:20.279. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Now, here's a term some might not be familiar with: roll bar stiffness. Sounds technical, doesn't it?
It does, but in essence, it's about how the car reacts to lateral forces, especially during cornering. Adjusting the roll bar can change how the car behaves mid-corner. A softer setting can be more forgiving, but a stiffer one might give the driver a quicker response, albeit with less margin for error.
Mate, these drivers aren't just burning rubber for the fun of it. They're chasing the ghost, that perfect lap that's always just out of reach.
Absolutely. Back in my racing days, I used to call it chasing the dragon. It's that feeling when you know there's still a little more in the tank, a fraction of a second to be found.
Stuart Boyle has a best lap time of 2:02.377. Alright, Chris Ilduke has put down a 2:06.736. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Honda S800 RSC.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
There's the first flying lap for Stuart Boyle, hitting 2:02.377. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
Puppy Dog from Hell posted 4:39.195 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Stuart Boyle crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 2:01.915. They're getting to grips with Lake Garnett 1963, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
Chris Ilduke has a best lap time of 2:05.425. Megasaurus 55 is rolling out for the first sniff of the track. It's all about feeling the car, the tarmac, and getting the mind in the zone.
Absolutely, Rob. The out lap is like the opening chapter of a book. It sets the tone for the whole story. They'll be checking how the car's responding, getting a real feel for the conditions today at Lake Garnett 1963.
Let's talk rubber. Tire pressures ain't just about pumping 'em up and hitting the road. It's like a fine art.
Couldn't have said it better. Tire pressures can dramatically impact the contact patch, the actual bit of tire touching the tarmac. Too high and you lose temperature and grip, too low, and you risk overheating, uneven wear, or even a blowout. Each tire will have its own sweet spot where they grip best.
And there's Megasaurus 55, easing out onto Lake Garnett 1963. It's like the first step on a long hike, finding your footing before you hit full stride.
Right, and every racer knows this out lap is precious. It's their first handshake with the track today, feeling out its mood and temperament.
Chris Duke posted a 2:22.822 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 308 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Look at Eddie G taking it nice and easy, a smart move. Like a chess player contemplating the opening move, they're planning several steps ahead.
Spot on. They're mentally mapping each corner, each straight. It's not just about the car, it's about strategy and foresight.
Alright, Sunoiler has put down a 2:06.208. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Honda S800 RSC.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
Eddie G is out there, taking it slow and steady on the out lap. This lap is like the calm before the storm, a moment of zen before pushing the limits.
That's right. It's about understanding the track's personality today a Euro. Each day, each lap can tell a different story, especially at a track like Lake Garnett 1963.
Megasaurus 55 is getting to grips with the Honda S800 RSC in this practice session. Ever heard the pit crew chat about wheel camber? Sounds like a dance move, but trust me, it's all car talk.
Haha, yeah, camber is the angle of the wheel relative to the road. A bit of negative camber, where the top of the tire leans inwards, can give more grip in the corners. But too much and you're looking at premature wear on the inside of the tire. It's a balancing act, and each track requires its own setting.
Mate, sometimes I reckon the pit wall looks like they're controlling a spaceship with all those dials and knobs.
You're not wrong. Each of those adjustments, from brake bias to differential settings, has a profound effect on car behavior. It's like tuning a guitar, but instead of strings, you're tweaking mechanical symphonies to get the car singing just right on the track.
Puppy Dog from Hell's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 204.235. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
Look at Megasaurus 55 go, they're really giving it some jandle now. The first flyer is always a bit of a reconnaissance mission, a mix of caution and raw pace.
You bet, Rob. They're mapping out the track, feeling out the grip levels, and getting a sense of how the car's performing today. It's a crucial lap for building confidence.
Watch as Richard Rossier takes it nice and easy on this outlap. It's not just about warming up the tires, it's about getting into that mental pit lane, tuning into the race mindset.
For sure, Rob. They're calibrating everything: the brakes, the steering, the throttle response. It's a crucial part of laying down the groundwork for a successful practice session.
Rob Keen's on the outlap, getting a taste of the tarmac. It's like sniffing the cork before a good wine, first impressions matter.
Exactly. They're assessing the grip, the balance, the whole shebang. You can learn a lot in these quiet moments before the throttle really opens up.
Stuart Boyle posted 203.028 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There's Rob Keen, gently nudging the beast as they head out. The out lap is where you whisper to the car, "Let's dance," before the real party starts.
You got that right. It's a gentle waltz before the full-on rock concert of the race. They're testing the waters, getting a feel for every bend and straight of Lake Garnett 1963.
You know, mate, watching these practice sessions, you'd think the driver just jumps in and goes. But there's a heck of a lot more to it, starting with that aero package, the balance between drag and downforce.
Oh, for sure, you tweak the front wing just a smidge, and you could have a totally different beast on your hands. Depending on the track, they might want more downforce for those tight corners or reduce it for the long straights to maximize speed.
It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions, like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right, in Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
Megasaurus 55's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 2:01.222. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Rob Keane is not hanging about, straight into the thick of it on this first flying lap. They're getting a real taste of the Honda S800 RSC's capabilities.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the limits early on. You'll see them experimenting with braking points and turn-in speeds, all while keeping an eye on those tire temps.
Chris Ilduke has a best lap time of 2:05.425. There's the first flying lap for Eddie G, hitting 2:02.408. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
There's no mucking around for Richard Rossier, a Euro, straight down to business on this first flyer. They'll be keen to see what times they can clock in early on.
Yeah, and it's not just about speed. It's about rhythm, finding that flow around Lake Garnett 1963. Getting into that groove early can set the pace for the whole session.
Stefan Roos is rolling out for the first sniff of the track. It's all about feeling the car, the tarmac, and getting the mind in the zone.
Absolutely, Rob. The out lap is like the opening chapter of a book. It sets the tone for the whole story. They'll be checking how the car's responding, getting a real feel for the conditions today at Lake Garnett 1963.
Hey Hal, you reckon these drivers ever get tired of going round and round during practice?
Well, Rob, repetition is the key. Every lap gives you data, insights, and an edge over the competition.
The engines are revving up and the drivers are ready to hit the gas pedal for this qualifying session at Lake Garnett 1963.
This is where champions are made, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Wayne Pearson is on their outlap. A solid qualifying performance by Eddie G, positioning them in 7th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
Absolutely, Rob. Eddie G has shown great potential to secure 7th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
A solid performance from Jack M team as they currently hold position 2. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. And there goes Stefan Roos, currently in position 6. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Stefan Ross's current position of 6th is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Incredible drive by Stuart Boyle so far, earning him 8th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
Great analysis, Rob. Stuart Boyle has shown excellent pace to secure 8th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
What a sublime effort by Rob in qualifying. They have taken charge of the session, holding the top position with authority. Their consistency and skill have been unmatched so far, and they are positioning themselves for a favorable starting position.
Absolutely, Rob. Rob is making their presence known with their outstanding performance. Their competitors will need to dig deep and find something special to challenge their supremacy.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Jack M team has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Stuart Boyle has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Sunweiler has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. What a performance from Rob. They currently occupy 4th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? Keane has just completed that lap in 2:09:17. Their best lap so far is 2:09:17. Putting them in P2, will they be able to hold on to that spot? Impressive work from Stuart Boyle, who has claimed 5th on the grid. Now, the focus is on Stuart Boyle has completed their first flying lap in 2:01.339. Sunoiler has put in a great effort and currently holds 8th. With the session winding down, can they unleash? Sunoiler has completed their outlap. Stefan Roos has secured a respectable 9th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? Stefan Roos has completed their outlap. Jack M team has positioned themselves well in 2nd during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
You're spot on, Rob. Jack M team's current position of 2nd is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
A dominant display by Megasaurus 55 in this qualifying session. They have put in a stunning lap time and find themselves at the top of the leaderboard. The other drivers will have their work cut out to match their speed and claim that pole position.
You're spot on, Rob. Megasaurus 55 is showcasing exceptional skill and consistency in this qualifying session. It's a formidable position they hold, and their rivals will need to step up their game to challenge them.
A solid qualifying performance by Jack M team, positioning them in 2nd at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Jack M team has done a fantastic job to claim 2nd. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
It's a stellar performance from Jack M team, clinching 1st.
They're in a great spot, Rob, but in qualifying, complacency can be your worst enemy. They need to keep pushing the limits while staying cool under pressure. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Currently in 7th, Sunoiler has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Spot on analysis.
Sunoiler has just completed a lap in 2:01.302. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. And there goes Wayne Pearson, currently in position 9. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result. Wayne Pearson has just completed that lap in 2:02.027. Their best lap so far is 2:02.027. Putting them in P8, will they be able to hold on to that spot? A solid performance from Keane as they currently hold position 3. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. Looks like Keen is making a statement, securing a spot in first.
Yeah, Rob, but there's always room for improvement. Smooth, consistent laps might just be the key to climbing even higher before this session wraps up. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
A strong showing from Eddie G as they currently sit in fourth. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Impressive display by Stuart Boyle, currently sitting in position 7. They've set a competitive time, but there's a real buzz in the air as Stuart Boyle secures 5th.
Right you are, Rob. They've put themselves in a solid spot, but they can't let up now. Staying smooth and focused is key to shaving off those extra fractions. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Incredible drive by Wayne Pearson so far, earning him 8th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
I completely agree, Rob. Wayne Pearson has positioned themselves impressively in 8th. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
With Wayne Pearson now sitting pretty in 5th, they have got to be feeling good.
True, but in the world of racing, good isn't always good enough. They've got to keep their eye on the prize and aim for perfection on every turn. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
It's an impressive showing by Jack M Team, currently in 3rd. They've shown Jack M Team will be happy having put themselves into 3rd in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Incredible performance by Rob so far. They have been the benchmark in this qualification session, consistently setting fast lap times and securing the top spot. It's a commanding position for them, and their rivals will be chasing their tail.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Rob has asserted their authority on the track with their commanding performance. The gap between them and the rest of the field is quite significant.
Stefan Roos has positioned themselves well in 7th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Stefan Roos has completed their first flying lap in 2:09:42. It's a masterclass from Keen in this qualification session. They have stamped their authority on the track, setting the pace and currently leading the pack. It's an outstanding performance, and they are making their intentions clear for the race ahead.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Rob is displaying an exceptional level of skill and confidence. They are in a class of their own and have taken control of this qualification session.
It's a stellar performance from Rob, clinching first.
They're in a great spot, Rob, but in qualifying, complacency can be your worst enemy. They need to keep pushing the limits while staying cool under pressure.
What a performance from Stuart Boyle. They currently occupy 6th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? Stefan Roos has secured a respectable 7th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalise on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance?
Absolutely, Rob. Stefan Roos has shown great potential to secure 7th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
And there goes Richard Rossier, currently in position 9. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Richard Rossier's current position of 9th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on this starting position.
Impressive work from Eddie G, who has claimed 4th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. Eddie's really showing what they're made of, landing in 4th during this nail-biting session.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about precision and nerve in qualifying. Every millisecond can make a difference on the grid. Let's see if they can squeeze out even more speed. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
A solid performance from Richard Rossier as they currently hold position 9. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Richard Rossier has done a fantastic job to claim 9th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
There's a real buzz in the air as Richard Rossier secures 5th.
Right you are, Rob. They've put themselves in a solid spot, but they can't let up now. Staying smooth and focused is key to shaving off those extra fractions. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Currently in 5th, Richard Rossier has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Lake Garnett 1963, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Rob Keane to take control of the race.
But they can't let that advantage go to waste. They will need to stay focused and keep their eyes on the prize.
Megasaurus 55 is second. Our third place starter for today's race is none other than Jack M Team. Taking the fourth spot is Eddie G. Richard Rossier has qualified fifth.
Let's see what Richard Rosier can do.
In the middle of the pack, we have Wayne Pearson starting from the sixth position on the grid.
But sometimes the underdog can surprise you. Let's see what they've got in the tank.
As the engines roar to life, Stuart Boyle prepares to take off from the seventh position on the starting grid. Stefan Roos is placed in eighth. Starting from the ninth position, Sunoiler will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win. The 10th starting position belongs to Chris Ilduke, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop Chris Ilduke fighting their way through.
Puppy Dog from Hell will need to be on top of their game starting from 11th on the grid. D-Max may have a bit of work to do starting from 12th on the grid.
We've seen great results from here. What has DMAX got in store for us?
The green light signals the beginning of an epic race. As the drivers jostle for position, it's all about keeping their cool under pressure.
Avoiding fender benders while gunning for the front? That's the name of the game right now.
So Rob's decided to play it cool, eh? Holding onto one like a croc with a juicy steak. Just sizing up the competition, I reckon.
It's always intense racing here at Lake Garnett 1963. Hold on to your hats, folks.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
What a beautiful day for racing here at Lake Garnett 1963. This is going to be good to watch.
The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage?
The race isn't won in the first turn, but there have been plenty that have ended there wrong.
Having started in sixth, Wayne Pearson will be looking to establish themselves in this race. Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial here.
No rush, no fuss for Stefan Ross. In the South, we appreciate taking a moment to breathe, and that's just what they're doing at 8. We'll see how things spice up.
The racing is normally closely fought here at Lake Garnett 1963. I think we are in for a cracking race. It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Megasaurus 55 gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
We got a close battle as Stuart Boyle closes in on Sunoiler. The intensity is off the charts as Stefan Roos hounds Wayne Pearson, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. D-Max has the pedal to the metal chasing Puppy Dog from Hell. Alright, hold your horses. Wayne Pearson is really putting the heat on Stefan Roos. If I were Stefan Roos, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. It's a close race between Richard Rossier and Wayne Pearson in 6th. Blimey, Richard Rossier's shifted gears and the results are clear, cruising up to 6th just like that. Things are getting spicy as Wayne Pearson is breathing down Richard Rossier's neck. The gap? Mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them. Buckle up, Stefan Roos is all over Megasaurus 55 like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action? Whoa, Stefan Roos is on fire, leaving skid marks and Megasaurus 55's hopes behind. The gap between Sunoiler and Wayne Pearson is razor thin as they vie for 7th in this nail-biting contest. Someone should tell Wayne Pearson this ain't a Sunday drive. Sunoiler's tearing up the track.
If this were chess, I'd say Sunoiler just put Wayne Pearson in check. Brilliant move.
Wow, Wayne Pearson is really pushing hard to catch up to Sunoiler. There's blood in the water for 7th place. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Wayne Pearson gaining places and Sunoiler losing them.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Wayne Pearson needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? Hold on to your hats. Megasaurus 55 is gunning for Jack MT. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend?
It's a thrilling battle for position as these two drivers give it their all. Who will come out on top? This is racing at its finest.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Sunoiler is right on the heels of Wayne Pearson, and we're in for a wild ride. Just like my hope in finding the one, Megasaurus 55's direction seems a bit lost right now. Fair dinkum, I reckon Chris Ilduke's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold one with Puppy Dog from hell in the front.
As we say in North Carolina, if the porch light's on, someone's home. And Chris Ilduke's making it known. He's right there, waiting to make his move on Puppy Dog from hell.
It's all systems go for D-Max, marking their territory in the first.
Absolutely, Rob. It's like watching a maestro at work. Every move DMAX makes is pure art.
Fair dinkum, Eddie's got a blue trying to bridge the gap. Might be praying for a blue from the front runners at this rate.
That's tougher than a $2 stake right now. It's not over till the checkered flag drops though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
Alright, lads and ladies, it's crunch time. Chris Ilduke is sniffing around Puppy Dog from hell like a— Hold on a second, oi. Puppy Dog from hell tried to pull a Steve Irwin and wrestle with the track limits. Track 1, Puppy Dog from hell 0. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Chris Ilduke is breathing down the neck of Puppy Dog from hell, not giving him any room to relax.
Chris Ilduke is following Puppy Dog from hell so closely, they could start charging them rent for occupying the same space on the track.
The gap between Chris Ilduke and Puppy Dog from hell is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Jack M team is closing in on Stefan Roos. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
That's right. Chris Ilduke is determined to pass Puppy Dog from hell and secure a higher position.
I tell you, mate, the tech in these cars would outshine any gizmo you'd find in a Sydney cafe.
As long as it doesn't make my morning coffee, I'm good. But yeah, the tech—
Breaking update. Looks like Chris Ilduke tried the old dingo stole my race line trick. A tad too clever by half.
Well, butter my biscuit. Chris Duck took a trip to the weeds. Must have thought they were at a barn dance the way they spun around.
It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Wayne Pearson's got Stuart Boyle in their crosshairs.
Looks like Wayne Pearson has got more moves than a cowboy in a honky-tonk bar. Stuart Boyle better watch out or he'll be two-stepped right off the track.
It's a brilliant day for racing here at Lake Garnett 1963. I'm really enjoying this.
This
Braking development, well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Wayne Pearson for nabbing 6th.
Impressive. Wayne Pearson is really showing their skill and determination out there.
Like a scene from a thriller, Stuart Boyle's on Wayne Pearson's tail, hungry for that spot. The best laid plans of mice and men are hell, but it's certainly not going to plan for Stuart Boyle right now as they are struggling to keep up with Wayne Pearson. Jack M team is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Stefan Roos at the moment. Things are getting spicy now. Stop the press. Looks like Stefan Roos is testing the off-road capabilities of their ride.
Seems like Stefan Ross is off-roading it. You know, like my attempts to adult. All over the place.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Richard Rossier is chasing Jack M team in P2. Blimey, D-Max must have spotted a pub off the track. That's the only reason any self-respecting Aussie would swerve that way.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race, they'd been looking at a decent result.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? It's pedal to the metal for Stefan Roos, while Stuart Boyle's still flipping through the radio channels.
I've always said, it's not the car, it's the driver. And Stefan Ross is proving that point right.
Looks like Richard Rossier is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. Dang, Richard Rossier's chasing Jack M team like a Southern belle after a gentleman with a fat wallet. This is racier than a late-night movie marathon.
There's no escape now. Stuart Boyle is breathing fire and has locked onto Stefan Roos's tail. This is what it's all about, folks. Wayne Pearson is in hot pursuit of Stefan Roos, who's just trying to stay ahead.
With Wayne Pearson on the hunt, Stefan Ross better not blink. Every split second counts in this tango.
The gap between Wayne Pearson and Stefan Roos is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 0.8 seconds. No room for error here. Megasaurus 55 is breathing down the neck of Richard Rossier, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
It's a battle of nerves now. Who will make the first mistake? Megasaurus 55 or Richard Rossier? This is high-stakes racing.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
If Eddie G gets any closer to Stuart Boyle, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
Superb driving from Eddie G, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
The gap between Megasaurus 55 and Richard Rossier is widening. It's now up to 0.3 seconds. Hold on a moment, maybe Richard Rossier's got a drop bear in the cockpit, cause that move was bonkers.
Well, slap my grandma. Richard Rossier's gone off like they saw a ghost. Or maybe they just saw their last lap time.
Watching Wayne Pearson try to close that gap on Stefan Roos is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good incident alert. Blimey, Stuart Boyle veered off the track like I veer away from commitment. Maybe they'll come back, unlike my ex.
Feels like Stuart Boyle's car turned into a stubborn mule for a second there at Lake Garnett in 1963.
Things are heating up as Stefan Roos tries to close the gap to Richard Rossier. Hang on to your cork hats, mates, we're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Stefan Roos and Richard Rossier. A tough moment for Stefan Roos, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 6th. The pressure is on for Eddie G as they try to catch up to Wayne Pearson. With a move that's swift, I'd say Eddie's running on high octane, and maybe a bit of Aussie spirit.
Well, slap my knee and call it a jamboree. Eddie's putting on a masterclass, storming into 7th.
Oh, the pressure is intense. These three drivers are displaying incredible skill and determination. It's like a high-speed chess match out there.
No doubt about it, Rob. The battle for that same piece of tarmac is intense. The sparks flying in the close quarters racing showcase the incredible skill and nerve of these drivers.
Incredible. Sunoiler is caught in a fierce battle, with Stuart Boyle breathing down their neck 0.1 seconds away, and Puppy Dog from Hell just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a test of their racing skills.
You're right on the money, Rob. Sunoiler is caught between two determined rivals, and the gaps to the cars ahead and behind add an extra layer of complexity. It's a delicate balance between defense and seeking opportunities.
Hal, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Rob. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
If I had $1 for every time Megasaurus 55 closed a gap like this, I'd have enough for a pint at the local. Get ready, Jack M team, the thunder from down under is coming. By crikey, Megasaurus 55's lap time is like a cold beer on a hot day, absolutely smashing. Jack M team, you need a moment to recover?
Megasaurus 55's driving like they stole something, and that something is Jack M team's dignity. Ouch.
This chase is as intense as a cricket match during the Ashes.
Cricket? I thought that was just a noisy bug. But seriously, it's like Game 7 of the World Series here. The gap between them is just over 0.7 seconds. Who will have the speed and skill to come out on top?
Oi, Richard Rossier's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Stefan Roos's got a battle ahead. Mate, I've heard the drivers talking about their car setups. It sounds more complicated than assembling an IKEA bookshelf.
You're not wrong. Back home, we just say it's like trying to line dance on a slippery floor. Takes a lot of tweaks and twists to get it right.
Well, butter my bread and call it a sandwich. Richard Rossier's not letting Stefan Roos have all the fairy bread at this party. Watch out, Stefan Roos, he's coming for your Tim Tams, mate. It's an intense battle for position as Eddie G tries to outmaneuver Wayne Pearson. This is edge of your seat racing. We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Eddie G is starting to climb all over the back of Stefan Roos. Any closer and they may need to pop the boot.
You ever tail someone to a secret fishing spot? Feels like Eddie G sees Stefan Ross as the catch of the day.
Well, that's an unexpected descent. Stefan Ross finds themselves repositioned at 8th.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Stefan Ross needs to stay calm and focused, and make their move when the time is right.
As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
Blimey, Eddie G is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies? Never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run.
I agree. Eddie G is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
In a race where seconds count, Megasaurus 55 is counting on less of them between themselves and Jack M Team. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. It's not going to plan for Megasaurus 55, they are still behind Jack M Team and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Rob, it's always exciting to see these skilled machines on the tracks. I mean, drivers. I always get them confused.
It looks like Rob Keane has found another gear in the last sector of the race.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
And there it is. Rob has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match. What a drive from Jack M Team, securing a great second place finish.
Brilliant. Jack M Team showed great skill and determination to take second place.
Excellent focus from Megasaurus 55 to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Followed by Richard Rossier in fourth, with Wayne Pearson and Eddie G in fifth and sixth. Sunoiler end in seventh. Stefan Roos brings home 8th. Finishing 9th is Puppy Dog from Hell. D-Max in 11th. Chris Ilduke claimed 10th. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Lake Garnett 1963, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Starting from pole position is the perfect place for Chris Duke to launch an attack. And we're off. As the race begins, drivers must be wary of aggressive moves that can lead to trouble on the first lap.
Maintaining composure is essential in this high-stakes environment. The ability to react and adapt will be the key to success.
As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race.
Let's hope they all brought their A games today.
Establishing an early advantage will be crucial to the outcome of this race.
The first lap can always be a bit of a bun fight as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
You know, they say, steady as she goes, and that's exactly what Wayne Pearson's doing. Holding on to 6, maybe they've got a trick or two up their sleeve for later. The tension is palpable here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap.
It all comes down to this, Rob, where the rubber meets the road. There's no more time for talk, no more practice. The teams have done all they can. Now it comes down to Stefan Ross to bring it home.
Fair dinkum, Rob Keane's tearing up the track like they're late for a barbie, climbing the ranks like nobody's business. Fair dinkum, Sunwell is finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting the front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter.
Sunweller's suspension setups really letting them carry speed into the apex, catching up to Chris Duck like molasses in winter.
Crikey, Sunweller's moving up faster than a cold one disappears on a hot day. They've clinched second. Chris Duke wants to close the gap with Sunweller.
Can they make it past without taking the paint off?
It's a game of inches now as Megasaurus 55 tails Stefan Roos closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. The tension is palpable. These drivers are showing tremendous respect for each other while going all out. It's a masterclass in clean, hard racing.
Absolutely, Rob. The intensity of this battle is unmatched. These drivers are leaving no room for error and showcasing their exceptional racing skills.
Hey, Stefan Roos, if Sunoiler gets any closer, you might need to pop the question. The last time I did that, she said, actually I can't tell you because of the court order.
Well, shucks. Stefan Ross might want to drop a gear or two. Sunoilers breathing down their exhaust like they're trying to catch a high off a tailpipe.
Megasaurus 55's got Rob breathing down their neck so close, you'd think they're trying to steal their lunch money. Remember those school days, mate? Oh wait, I never had lunch money. Oh, the Chris Hill Duke is in trouble.
They're coming up fast on Sunoiler and there's no way they're going to be able to slow down in time.
Looks like someone needs to tell Chris Hill Ducted this isn't a demolition derby. That kind of driving just won't cut it at this level. Oh, this is getting intense. Jack M team is just a few car lengths behind Rob. The action is non-stop as Rob shadows Stuart Boyle through every twist and turn, determined to claim fourth. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Chris Hill Duke's inching ever closer to Eddie G. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
These two are putting on a masterclass in precision driving. Every turn, every acceleration, calculated to perfection.
It's like David versus Goliath out there. Richard Rossier just slung a stone and gained ground, while Stefan Roos is left searching for footing. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Stefan Roos is proper nipping at Richard Rossier's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell. Things are heating up as Stuart Boyle closes in on Rob, always keen. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. Oh, this is getting intense. Stefan Roos is just behind Richard Rossier. By the looks of it, Stefan Roos reckoned late Garnett 1963 had a hidden shortcut. Too bad there isn't one. The adrenaline is pumping as Rob Keane gets within striking distance of Stefan Roos in their race for third. Ever felt like, hold on a moment, looks like Wayne Pearson forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that.
Lord have mercy. Wayne Pearson must have seen a ghost or thought they spotted Bigfoot. That was one wild turn.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Stefan Roos is right behind Richard Rossier, keeping the pressure on for second place.
Oi, Rob, wouldn't want to be in Richard Rossier's shoes right now, would y'all? Talk about a pressure cooker situation.
Whoa there, Stuart Boyle is sticking to Eddie G like glue. You reckon Eddie's feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would. Gee whiz, Stefan Roos is breathing down Richard Rossier's neck. Wouldn't want to be in Richard Rossier's rearview mirror right now. It's getting crowded.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Stefan Roos is taking that advice to heart today.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. We got a close battle as Stefan Roos closes in on Richard Rossier. A great moment for Stefan Roos, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
Oi, Megasaurus 55 is on Jack M team like a drop bear on an unsuspecting tourist.
Drop bear? Had to Google that one. But yeah, here it's like a linebacker on a quarterback sack. The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds. Who will come out on top?
Fantastic move from Megasaurus 55, who has just gained a position.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
You know, the way these racers manage their fuel is an art in itself. Reminds me of when I'm trying to eke out the last bit of sauce from a Vegemite jar.
Vegemite again? Man, I'd rather run on empty. But yeah, getting that fuel strategy right is like pacing yourself at a southern buffet. Go too hard too fast, and you won't make it to the pecan pie.
The intensity is off the charts as Jack M Team hounds Chris Duke, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
If Jack M Team isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine. And trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
Struth, Jack M Team's taken a bit of a tumble down the order to 8th. Must have missed the memo.
Racing's an art and sometimes the canvas changes mid-stroke. Jack M Team's shift will add to the intrigue of today's story.
You know, back in Oz, we have a saying, flat out like an incident alert. Well, Puppy Dog from Hell's spinning like my life in 2020. Someone get him a map? Or a therapist?
Holy smokes. Puppy Dog from Hell's serving up some backyard barbecue with that smoke show. Just missing the ribs.
As the laps wind down, the hunt intensifies. Richard Rossier is lurking, ready to unleash an overtaking masterclass on Stefan Roos. Sorry to cut in here, Chris Duke is in the pits. Alright, hold your horses. Stuart Boyle is really putting the heat on Megasaurus 55. If I were Megasaurus 55, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. I reckon they've had a few secret lessons down under. Stuart Boyle's just breezed into 8th.
Dang, if Stuart Boyle keeps this up, we'll need to douse the track. Smokin' hot move to 8th.
Richard Rossier is giving it their all as they chase down Stefan Roos in P3.
The gap is 0.6 seconds now. Richard Rossier is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Stefan Roos.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging.
Oh, for sure. It's like watching a cooking show where Megasaurus 55 is trying to whip up a winning dish, but Jack M Team keeps hiding the main ingredient.
It's a close race between Richard Rossier and Stefan Roos in 3rd.
Honestly, Rob, with this chase, I'm half expecting to see some sneaky dive bombs in the next few laps. Popcorn ready?
What a move. Richard Rossier has moved up to 3rd.
Yes, Richard Rossier is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
In your experience, Hal, what was the most challenging aspect of maintaining concentration during a race?
The most challenging aspect, Rob, was managing the various inputs and distractions during the race, from radio communication with the team to monitoring car performance and race strategy. It's a delicate balancing act that requires immense mental discipline.
The race is really heating up. Megasaurus 55 is hunting down Jack M Team with everything they've got. And Megasaurus 55 has just won the place from Jack M Team. Things are getting spicy as Stuart Boyle is breathing down Jack M Team's neck. The gap? Mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them.
And the drivers know it too, Rob. They're giving it everything they've got. And
wait, now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Tell ya what, Stefan Roos has got more guts than a croc in a boxing ring. Closing the gap and breathing down the neck of Richard Rossier. Hope Richard Rossier brought the aeroguard, cause he's about to get bitten.
The stopwatch doesn't lie, and the shrinking gap is telling a tale of a hunter closing in on its prize.
Stefan Roos is on the back foot here, struggling to keep up with Richard Rossier like a dingo after a roadrunner. You can feel the tension in the air.
The drivers are all focused, putting everything on the line for a chance.
Sorry to cut in here, that won't be ideal for D-Max. Every move counts now as Eddie G works to reel in Stefan Roos and overtake for P4. Stone the Crows. Eddie's managed to trim the gap with Stefan Roos, eh? Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beer. Would ya look at that gap? Sorry to interrupt here, but, oof, Jack M team misjudged that corner like I misjudged my last relationship. Too fast, too soon.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 6 kph out there right now.
The tension is building as Stefan Roos trails behind Richard Rossier. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Richard Rossier hold on, or will Stefan Roos be able to close them down?
You know, Stefan Roos reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
Looks like Eddie G is trying to chase down Steph. Incident alert. Oh, mate. That's how the old man used to drive after a couple of bevies at the pub. Not the right line, but definitely entertaining. Buckle up. D-Max is all over Chris Ilduke like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action?
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. DMAX must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
Oh, the pressure is on for D-Max. Trapped between not Clinton Kakadin 0.1 seconds away and Chris Ilduke just ahead with a gap of 0.1 seconds, they must defend their position while seeking an opportunity to advance.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are crucial pieces of information for DMAX's race strategy. It's a delicate dance, and they must remain vigilant.
These drivers, top-notch athletes, it's not just about being quick. They've got stamina, reflexes, and they gotta think faster than a kangaroo on a trampoline.
I'd pay to see that. A kangaroo on a trampoline? But yeah, their mental and physical game has to be on point for these races.
You know, DMAX is holding off Chris Ilduke like a crop defending its territory.
Huh, and over here, we'd say they're guarding like an eagle protecting its nest.
The gap between Chris Ilduke and D-Max is razor thin as they vie for 11th in this nail-biting contest. It's a challenging situation for Chris Ilduke. They're sandwiched between their fierce competitors, not Clinton Kakadin 0.1 seconds away and D-Max 0.1 seconds ahead. They'll need to stay sharp and find an opportunity to make a move. Hold your breath, folks. Chris Ilduke is sandwiched between two relentless competitors, not Clinton Kakadin 0.1 seconds behind and D-Max 0.1 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position.
You're absolutely right, Rob. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind act as a measuring stick for Chris Ilduke's performance. They'll have to keep a close eye on those gaps to stay in control of their race.
This is edge of the seat stuff. D-Max is relentlessly hunting down Chris Ilduke. Who'll blink first? Blimey, Chris Ilduke is playing a tight game of footy on this track. DMAX has got the ball, but no clear shot at the goal just yet.
Chris Ilduke is doing a great job of defending in the lead, and DMAX is pushing hard to close the gap. It's an exciting race and it's not over yet.
Fair dinkum, Chris Ilduke's dropping like a cold pie and DMAX is snatching the top shelf Tim Tams.
Feels like DMAX brought their barbecue A game, while Chris Ilduke's grill's gone cold. They've been focusing so hard on maintaining their position, and now they've slipped back in the field. Meanwhile, DMAX has been making some great moves and is now on the charge.
As the laps tick by, D-Max finds themselves in 11th. Every moment counts. Hollywood couldn't script this better. Rob's shadowing Sunoiler, waiting for the slightest misstep.
The gap's closing, the clock's ticking, and the finish line awaits its champion.
It looks like Rob is making a move. The gap to Sunoiler is now down to 0.4 seconds.
I reckon Rob's dialed in their camber settings. They're getting a much better contact patch on the tires, gaining on Sunoiler with every twist and turn.
In a world, wait, Stuart Boyle's off the track. Reminds me of my first car, a real lemon. Drove straight but only in reverse.
Whoops, Stuart Boyle is going to be kicking themselves.
You ever see a croc stalking its prey? That's the energy Rob's bringing right now, ready to strike when the moment's right.
Kinda reminds me of a linebacker waiting for that perfect moment to make a game-changing tackle. The anticipation is intense, and Rob's not letting up.
Wow, D-Max is really pushing hard to catch up to Chris Ilduke. There's blood in the water for 11th place. You can feel the rumble from here. Sunoiler's in the thick of it, and they're not letting go. It's a battle of wills, and only the strongest will come out on top.
Yeah, it's like the final lap of the Daytona 500. Pedal to the metal, eyes on the prize, and no room for error. This is what racing's all about.
It's not looking good for Sunoiler. They are still behind Keen and the gap is increasing. They are gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? You know, Hal, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Rob. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
On the final lap now, and Keen looks like they might just wrap up this win. The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Rob Keen, who is simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books. Impressive second place finish for Sunoiler. That was an outstanding performance from Richard Rossier. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
In fourth and fifth, it's Stefan Roos and Megasaurus 55. Taking sixth is Eddie G. Seventh sees Wayne Pearson, followed by Stuart Boyle in eighth. With Jack M team in ninth. Tenth is Puppy Dog from Hell. Coming in 11th we have D-Max.